As a child, I was a warrior. It has always been those times in which I've chosen to decide to live as a warrior that I've somehow squeaked by into the next miracle. I owe all that I am to this over 45 years in the Bujinkan and in traditional martial arts many years before that. The School of the Wind Dragon is not a business, not a temple, not a way, not a religion. We are a tradition lived. We provide a specially designed environment for martial artists to grow. You need not be perfect, but if true goodness isn't in you, stay away. It would not be a good fit for you. Come and forge your power if you dare.
That is a little unusual. Yeah.
The purpose of the channel is simply to attract enough attention to get the public pressure to become enough that the federal government steps up and does the right thing. There was a treaty given to what everybody is calling nowadays Sabe or Bigfoot or Sasquatch inappropriately. They are not that. They are not monkeys, they are not apes, they are people. We knew that way back at the end of the Civil War and way prior to that. They were the first people on this continent. That's why they're called the First Nations people. They were given a treaty by President Andrew Jackson in the 1800s. It was the largest land grant given any Indian tribe. We had a problem in those days. We had two colonies, one down in Salem, Oregon, the other up in Seattle, Washington. President Jackson had a national security problem because Benjamin Franklin had gone overseas with his printing press and printed billions of dollars in counterfeit money with no gold reserves and nothing to back it up. But he thought he had an ace in his sleeve because the tactic of the white man has always been give a treaty, steal the land. And gold had been discovered on the Sioux Nation's lands, and it was laying all over the ground, and you could pick it up by the bushelfuls. You didn't have to do any digging, mining, panning, or any of that stuff. So he gave the treaty, and in the treaty it names the people as an indigenous people called the First Nations Silatic people. They are quite unusual. They are very powerful. They could inadvertently shove a finger completely through you out of curiosity. Each Silatic was capable of picking up an 800-pound block of pyroplast and carrying it to wherever you wanted. They had built the Northwest Passage Trail so that the Indians and fur traders and so forth could trade back and forth. We wanted that gold reserve so that we'd have a Federal Reserve so our creditors would no longer be on our case and supply the colonies. They were starving out. The tribes made a huge mistake in welcoming the white man and keeping the white man alive at Plymouth Rock and all the other times the Indians helped. No Indian ever broke any treaty. They were all broken by the white man. The way it was broken is the white man uh, President Andrew Jackson, whom the Indians hated. I don't know why. As a child, I grew up admiring the man because he was a great Civil War general, but I found out later why. He leaked the information to newspapers that the goal was in the Dakota Hills, and the white people rushed in and broke the treaty, and martial law was enacted, and he seized the land. A big war broke out between the Sioux Nation and the Siletix. The Sioux Nation got its ass kicked and then banded together and took about 4 years to band with the Arapaho for their trackers and the Cheyenne for their horsemen, and drove the Siletix deep into the canyons and caverns and lava tubes and worm floors of Mount St. Helens and Mount Adams and up into Canada. And they became nomadic, and they're still being harassed today. This is a much covered up and ignored tragedy. I want their federal lands returned to them. I want the treaty restored and them federally protected so that people will stop doing ignorant things that are not safe in the woods. I live by the Bujinkan motto, which is very important to us. It's one of the only martial arts that has a real motto. It goes like this: everywhere I am, everybody is just a little bit safer. Every time I return home, I'm greeted by smiling faces. It's a better life. This motto was given to the Bujinkan ninjas because a man by the name of Humphreys in World War II undertook to handle the invasion of Iwo Jima. That was a mountain fortress where the ninjas were located, and they were the most awesome fighting force that Japan had. They were starving out, but they handed MacArthur his ass, and he had to go home and spend about 8 years regrouping and retraining, and then finally invaded and conquered the island. It was a terrible battle. MacArthur turned the repatriation effort over to a man by the name of Humphreys, who was the general that led that invasion. He was so impressed with the Bujinkan that he trained with them for many years, became a Godan, that's 5th degree black belt like I am, and he was made a national treasure. And they asked him to give them a motto, and he gave them that. So that's my purpose in the channel, is to try to get this madness stopped. They are not Sabe. Sabe is not even an Indian word, really. It would mean great friend. I don't think that any Indian would want to call these people great friends. They're wild people. They have a language. We don't give treaties to animals. We give treaties to people. And there are just many people doing idiot things out there. Nobody speaks that language. They don't know the language, and the language has been lost by the Siletix to some degree. To go in the woods and wood knock and make hoops and make noises that in no way duplicate the sound of the resonant chamber that's in the head of a Sasquatch. All those channels and so forth there. It's a massive skull. We can't duplicate that sound. And we don't know what it means. It's just lunacy what people are doing. Sabe came from the old television show of the Lone Ranger and Tonto. So quit calling them that, folks. They are the Siletic people. And they are greatly respected, but you don't want to mess with them. Stay out of the woods until you got some training and know what to do. There will be no instructions given on my channel regarding martial arts practice or tracking. I will simply be demonstrating things, and there are lessons in the stories that I will be telling you as the channel progresses. That's it.